In this tutorial, we're going to draw using coordinates. So first, open up your set inch template, and we're going to save it as coordinate tutorial-A. And we want to save it as a 2018 drawing type. Alright, so the first thing we want to do is make sure everything is turned off in our status bar. So turn everything off. And we want to make a grid that's 1 by 1. Alright, we're going to draw a line. So we'll start with a line. So click on the line command. And AutoCAD uses coordinates to draw. So this whole thing is a coordinate grid. We already talked about the origin, which we see down here. This is the world coordinate system. This is our 0, 0. So everything comes off of that. So right now, AutoCAD is wanting us to specify the first point of our line. So we're going to say that the first point is going to exist at 2, 2, which means it's 2 units in the X direction and 2 units in the Y. Since we're in an inch drawing, that means it's 2 inches in the X and 2 inches in the Y. So this is where our first line is going to be, our first point. And we're going to take that and we're going to go to 5, 2. So that means it's going to travel 3 units in the X and none in the Y, right? Because we're already at 2 in the Y. So we would expect a horizontal line. And there we go. And see, our grid is 1 by 1. So you can see that it went 3 units. And then the next one, according to the figure in the book, is going to be 5, 4. So how many units and in what direction do you think it's going to go in? Right, we're already 5 in the X, so it should travel 2 in the Y. And there it goes 2 in the Y. The next one is 2, 4. So we're already 4 in the Y, so it's going to go back by 3 in the X. All right. So now we'll go back to the beginning. 2, 2. And then hit enter to exit the command, and we have ourselves a rectangle. All right, we're going to do the same thing. Draw the same rectangle, but instead of using absolute coordinates, which we just did, we're going to use relative coordinates. So we're going to do another line. And now we're just going to click anywhere. We don't know where. Just click. Doesn't matter. All right. So now we know that our bottom line of the rectangle needs to be 3 units long. And it needs to be horizontal. So to get relative coordinates relative to our last point that we made, we use the little @ symbol. So shift above the 2, and we want to go 3 units at an angle of 0. There we go. Now we want to go relative 2 units at an angle of 90. That'll be straight up. Then 3 units at an angle of 180. That's to the left. Then relative 2 units, angle 270. And there you go. So that could be easier for some people to do, especially if you don't know where the first point was that was drawn. So myself, I almost exclusively draw with relative coordinates as opposed to absolute coordinates. Alright, so let's do the same thing, but let's use relative instead of polar. Let's use relative XY. We can do the same thing. So again, don't know where we're starting. So relative 3, 0. Relative 0, 2. Relative -3, 0. Relative 0, -2. So again, whatever you're most comfortable with. Absolute coordinates, which is a little harder, I think, to use all the time, but sometimes they're useful. Relative polar coordinates with the angles, or relative XY coordinates. All right, so let's save that, and we'll go on to the next part of the tutorial.